The first thing is we need somehow a network where all of us, we can have a point of contact, and it could be like, the directors, right? And now it could be, I don't know, a WhatsApp, for example, thing where we can all communicate to each other. I don't care but definitely a place where we all, for example, if we run into an issue, like the issue with that we had with, for example, REUs, right? We can say, hey, I'm facing this. Does any of your institutions have a solution? Because sometimes some institutions will, if I tell them, hey, this university is an HBCU or it's an MSI and they dealt with it this way, they might, call and say, okay, you know what? Yeah, let's do it that way. So we definitely need a place where we can all communicate with each other. And it could be for anything, either resolving issues or we have an opportunity. Hey, we have REUs. I want to send them for this. Can anybody host students? Or, opportunities, for example, that we said about the PhD, the doctoral, like, hey, I would like to apply for some of the doctoral fellows. Do you have any doctoral fellows? So I think that we definitely need a way to communicate and help each other. Okay, we need to see it as we're all in this together and we're not competing with each other. We're trying to help each other succeed. So definitely we need that. I think the website thing, we don't want to overwhelm somebody. I think one way, I don't know if does everyone have a website? Okay, so I think maybe the one pager would be a link to all of the other people's websites. Where we basically can go in and or put in announcements. Like, so if any of us has something that they want to announce, we just basically send it to that page and we say, for more information, go to the institution's website. Like just a landing page that can just tie us together and where we can make some announcements, like especially, like for example, let's say we have open positions. So we're interviewing for AI machine learning positions, right? We can advertise it in there, and then, if you have any people that would like, it will help us all. So I think those are the two things that we definitely need to start with. And then of course, everything else can be, we can tackle any other thing.
Yeah, so, this has been an issue. We have been coming to this conference for a few years, and it's always the same issue. The challenge is, of course, that we go back home and we don't have the resources to put this together, right? It's always the problem. So when we came the last time, we had the idea to submit an includes proposal, which would be an alliance of CREST centers and HBCU programs. The idea is mainly to catalyze what we do. If we can do some things alone, we can do much more together. You have mentioned some of the things in terms of postdocs, in terms of where do I send my MS student, which is great. Some of your institutions have PhD programs. So we did get together. Maria is here. She was in the proposal. And Arturo, we had someone from Puerto Rico. And and New Mexico. Many of you here participate in some of the workshops that we developed for the Alliance. Exactly. And we submitted a proposal, and we got mostly excellent reviews. The proposal was ranked highly competitive. And at the end of the day, they didn't fund us because I didn't have enough money to fund us. To an extent, we were relieved that we didn't get a proposal because it was also $10 million. It was like a beast. And we're doing too many things as well. But the point there is that money gives us resources to fund staff, to fund a director, to coordinate these things, to have a webmaster and create a structure. So we have been thinking about resubmitting it, not as an alliance, because we think the alliance is too much, but maybe as a pilot or as a hub. I don't know how much you understand about the Includes program, but if you're all interested, we could resubmit that proposal, which is pretty much ready. make it a smaller scope and focus on these things. The website, focusing on creating this pathway for students to go from undergraduate to master to PhD to postdocs, and create this page where we can see and connect to each other. And so this is as an idea, that we could move forward.
And the main point is exactly that: establish a network of CREST centers and HBCUs, so that we can connect, we can collaborate, and everybody, and we don't put the burden on 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 institutions, but rather we create a structure with enough staff and enough that who have enough resources so that we continue to do what we supposed to do, which is do research, train students, publish, and get more grants, right? So that would be the idea. Right now, the point is, how do we move forward? We can, because at the end of the day, we want something that is lasting, right? That lasts. We can have we can have a little patch today, but then we have to really resolve the problem, and the problem goes beyond what is happening here. I suggested to NSF, to Luis, to have in the NSF website to have a list of CRESTs with students that are about to finish, where their area of expertise are, and then also the potential date of degree completion, so that CRESTs, other people can go and see, but they don't have the capacity. They don't have the possibility.
But I think, like, one of the things that we have to understand, guys, is like, and I know you hate committees. Trust me, I am in a billion of them. Okay, if we are going to be organized, we really need to have a committee of us doing a little bit more of the legwork just to get things established. And look, we can rotate. It can be like, let's say 5 people. Okay, we select 5 people among us. Let's get the wheel started on getting things established, and then, hey, every year when we meet, we'll say, okay, who's next? Okay, it doesn't have to be on all of us, but if we disband today and we don't do anything about it, it's just, we're going to come next year and we're going to be the same exact thing. So
I agree totally. And also, I think we already have the framework, right, in place. So if you could condense that for the CREST PI Association, I think that's a great start. Then we can have an executive committee, whoever, mix of different institutions, PUI, or some institution with a PhD program. Then we can get started. So I'm first year CREST, so I'm just delighted to hear what you have done.
we have somebody in the back.
I guess I'm going to show my age, but if you wait long enough, history repeats itself. Back in the 90s, when they first started having research centers of excellence, we had an organization called NARCE, the National Alliance of Research Centers of Excellence. And it was exactly what you're talking about now. And basically, what we did was we formed the organization, got all the officers, everything running first, and then we asked for the money. And they said, yeah. And so I think we should just do it. We can do it now and make the organization, everybody's in it, elect some officers, and tell them. And they'll find money, I promise.
I mean, I agree. I'm in the. I don't know if any of you has a UTC center, Universal Transportation Center, or you ever heard of them. So we have an executive committee, and the executive committee deals with all of these things. And yes, we got a grant where we basically have a secretary that's helping a webmaster. And so it's easier. I know it's going to be hard at the beginning because we're going to have to do things volunteer based. But again, I think we need to get started with this so that we can at least. There are so many things that we can collaborate with. Even other grants, right? So, for example, I had a faculty that was looking for partners from HBCUs, and I didn't know many. I mean, whoever I sent, they said, no, that's not our area. So there is a lot of things to be gained from this, okay? Again, at the beginning, we're going to need some volunteers to really launch this. But once it's launched, I agree, we can go and, once we have a structure and we say, look, it's working. Look at how many exchange students we've had. Look at how many postdocs we were able to help each other. If you have examples, that's what's going to help. If you don't have anything to show for it, they're not going to buy it.
So I think that the problem here is not that we are not buying. I think everybody is convinced that we need this, right? The point is, how do we move forward? And what we propose is we need some support, right? And NSF has this program, which includes the Includes program, that we can use to support the effort. Gustavo, Maria, and I, and others have participated in what we established as a planning grant. So my suggestion is, let's establish, or let's get a planning grant so that we can start gathering everybody and developing really a strategy on how are we going to network, or to establish the network. And after that, we can actually go and during that time, we can implement some basic stuff, and then go after the other larger grant to support the effort.
Yeah, so my intention behind this, and so actually it is basically to, I think if seeking funding is great, but other than seeking funding, there are a lot of other things which we need to do together. So one of the things actually which we were talking yesterday, it is about like a lot of practices which are happening at this minority serving institutions. We need to have like second perspective. We need to see like what other people are doing, so we can have some examples. When we say some problem, we have some solution also. So that is actually some of the things which I'm really looking forward to share from our side, and also to gain from yours. So yeah, I think funding agencies that are okay and very nice, but other than that, we need some kind of a platform to come back. Maybe WhatsApp group, maybe something low hanging fruit. Just make a WhatsApp group. Just join that. At least I think it's easy to no kind of executive board, no committee. It's there. You just ask question once in a while. We check in, and then we just keep moving forward. So I think let's before we leave this room, so let's just settle on some initiation. If we can vote, or we can just choose what is kind of familiar, like everybody is comfortable with, whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's Slack, or just move with that. Take everybody's information, enter it, and like move out of there, and then we can just move forward.
Just now, because again, I think we do need to establish some officers today. Okay, regardless, I understand these things, and we can always go for the money, but the money is going to take time, right? So I think right now what we need to do is let's just agree on something. Like, can we select? Do we think we need about 4 or 5 officers initially for this committee? Let's just call it like the CREST HBCU Rise committee, and then just select 5 people to help. Do we agree on this? Like, do we have any volunteers?
Yes, I'll volunteer.
Okay, so there is 1, 2, 3, 4, and That's 5. Great. I mean, I'm more than willing to help. Yes. Sure. So just before, like, so we're gonna select people, and then we need to also agree on a platform. Is WhatsApp convenient for all of you, or is there something else?
That's my comment.
Okay. Go ahead.
Because WhatsApp is a little difficult for me, but might be my intellect. But I think just a Google Sheet is all we need right now to kind of get started, and just everybody. If we create one right now, we could send it to everybody. You can put your email, all your contact list, and we can start to maybe devise some of these things that we want to prioritize. And that's all we really need to get started. So yeah.
The other thing with the money is, again, a long time ago, there was no ERN meetings and none of this stuff. So we actually had our own meetings, and we would have annual PI meetings of just the center PIs, and we would have the students come to those meetings and present. It's called ERN now, but back then it was the NARCI. And
But right now with COVID, and we have like Zoom. We can.
no, wait, what I'm getting at is that we just need to do it. And if we wait for money, it won't get done.
No, I agree. So so are we comfortable with the Google Sheet?
If I could, so it seems to me that I think the Google Sheet's a good idea, WhatsApp, whatever, but like 60% of the benefit here is just having a way to communicate with each other, right? So a listserv, maybe. I just looked at UNM. I think I can only host UNM addresses, but if somebody has a way to set up a listserv that we're all on, and then, it's like, hey, I got a PhD student graduating, anybody want a postdoc, right? Just those, then we're not like trying to check back on some other, maybe Slack's good. I've never used Slack. But I think if that could be set up, that's a lot of benefit with 0 cost and like 5 minutes of effort. So just a suggestion. Yeah.
If you have a Google Sheet, you can make a Google group listserv.
Okay.
I think that's probably the element that everybody's going to have a different opinion about.
Yeah. So settle on a platform, right?
Google Sheet, I'm sure everybody has a Gmail account.
Yeah, I've heard of Google.
Start
Hey.
it now, and then we can work out those particular issues.
So it sounds like we decided. So Google Sheet and then the Google group, or however is the communication. And so one, I certainly, and I think we all appreciate everyone who's willing to volunteer to be the inaugural executive board of the CREST PI Association, or whatever we want to call it. But I would like to say, can we also make sure that we have a diverse representation of that board in terms of institution type and everything else? And well, I mean, I don't, I don't want to say it, but I think we could use more X chromosomes on the in looking around the room, right? And maybe a little less Y, just
Yeah, I think, from each institute we can have a representative in that committee, and that way, because we can spread out and share the information within the institutes. Another thing that we can start right away is having webinars. From each institute we can pick one webinar series, and that is, again, it's not going to cost us anything, but we can start right away. That way all of us get to know more about the centers across.
And I think the website, that is a good thing. That's what I'm saying. Like the one page there, you can make announcements. So, for example, one thing is to communicate, right? Send emails, right? But another way is to have a page where we can put announcements, and you can put like any of your announcements, like, hey, I have we have like a conference, or we have a webinar presenting. So we need to have a page, right? And now, as for the inaugural committee, I mean, again, we can vote, guys. I mean, I'm all for. Again, trust me, I have like about 1 billion committees, so I don't need another committee. But I'm vested in this because it's really hard to go after PRF, postdoc, when you don't even know. I mean, any postdocs who are or the PhDs who are graduating from HBCUs or MSIs. I mean, it's very hard. It's also very hard to find in your area because we are all different areas, right? So it's not that easy, right? Sometimes we're looking for partners for a specific thing, for a specific grant, right? Then you can put that and say, hey, we're going for this. Is anybody interested? So again, who is the committee? I don't really, it doesn't matter as long as they're willing to, just share a little bit of the burden initially just to make this working. They might have to meet once a month just to say, hey, where are we? Is the page set up? Are we communicating? Are we getting feedback from everyone? That's all we need. It's not going to be a lot of work. I don't foresee it being a lot of work. And we can rotate every year. It's not a power thing or anything. But yeah, I agree. We need to have diverse, and everybody needs to be okay with whoever is in the committee.
So who's creating the Google page? Very quick. Agreement online and you have volunteers as well.
Okay. And so we also have volunteers from online. So we have to also be cognizant of the people online. So that's great.
Creating the website. Let's start with names.
So during the process, we had a planning grant, and we actually developed a website, which just to show what it should look like. And the website is pretty much what you said. It's a place for posting announcements, a place where you can post your students and you can look for students. So it's pretty much ready, and we just have to bring it up. So I can commit to doing that, and so because it's like 95% ready.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
So can we have the name? Your name? So
Yeah, so we can do that. My name is Gustavo Menezes. Yeah, I can take notes. Yeah.
Okay.
So Gustavo Menezes, what is your institution, Gustavo? Say that again, please.
Okay.
And who's creating the Google Sheet to get the names?
I think the Google Sheet. Excuse your name. But your name? Okay. Yes, it's AAAS underscore ERN 23. Okay.
Google Sheet is like spreadsheet where we just enter our names and email addresses. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, it's like a listserv. Okay, so now how do you want to go around like picking up the do we need 5 people? How many people do you think we need in the first committee? Because again, I don't want to overwhelm anyone. I know everyone is busy. Well, we said that we needed X chromosomes and less Y chromosomes, so she volunteered. Okay, so the people who volunteer, well, since he's gonna be developing the website, he's gonna be one member, right? Second member, can you guys stand up? Okay, and who else wants to be in the committee? There's the Google Sheet. That's 3. Okay. Do we have other people? Somebody in the.
We can pass this, write the names for the committee.
Anybody else?
Committee volunteer for
Okay, so that's 4. Okay. 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 There you go. So there is.
My name is L.D. Chen. I'm with Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi. My university is HSI and also MSI. And we have a CREST Center, basically for geospatial and environmental informatics, modeling and simulation. GEMS is our CREST Center. So this is kind of, we have the undergraduate degree, but we also have 2 PhD degree. So
he's representing us TAMU, Kingsville, and UTRGV, since we're all in the same area. So we're good. We're covered. Okay. So we have. Okay, great. Yeah, Brian, you can.
Yeah, so I'm Dr. Brian Higgs with the University of the District of Columbia, just 1 mile down the street. And I'm with HBCU Rise. We are establishing a Center of Climate Change Analytics.
Okay, so we have 6 members in the initial group. That's great. Okay. So that will get us started. So what we're gonna do is, as I said, like with the sheet, we're gonna be able to communicate. And so anything you want to, let's say, post, we will send it to Gustavo, right, for now, and then we will communicate through the email. I suggest that the committee, the 6 people in the committee, just meet up online, whenever you guys can, and just start thinking of like, hey, what you want to do, what things you want to put on, let's say, the website. Maybe you want to ask people for certain things to be in the website, like, hey, send us your postdocs or your PhDs that are going to be graduating, or send us this, whatever you guys need. You'll be the point of contact.
Since we're here, might be good to meet over lunch, the group.
That's fine. That's up to you guys. Again, I don't want to create more work on anybody, and I'm more than happy to volunteer, but I mean, if other people want to do it, that's great. Excellent. That's great. Great. Okay, so are there any other issues that you guys want to... Are there any other issues? Okay.
I was just going to say that the big secret is that NSF has lots of money they don't tell you about. And so we shouldn't try to target something out there. Just put it together and go to them, and they'll find the money. They'll love this.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we are. I mean, right? The idea is just to get established so we can see that, hey, we've done it. Like, a lot of the times they want to see that, at least like some of the other grants I've submitted, like it's easier for them to fund it when they see a working model and they see like, hey, people are willing to do it, and it's not just. I'd like to hear from others that haven't spoken. I mean, are we all okay with this? Do we have any other suggestions?
Thank you. Hi, my name is Ram Krishnan from UT San Antonio. I think it's critical that we have milestone for the next year, especially with the committee that has been formed. We haven't discussed what this committee is supposed to do very clearly or very specifically. I know we have talked about a few different things, but I feel, well, what do you want to accomplish in the next 1 year? Do we have to have a website? Do we have to have a clear pathway to communication for getting postdocs? Unless we have specific action items, it can be 1 or 2. I feel it's just going to be one of those email lists people start to ignore.
Well, no, I mean, I agree. I mean, people can suggest to the committee, like, I do agree, like, of course, establishing the website has to happen quickly, right? I mean, it's not a 1-year thing, hopefully. But, I mean, some milestones, honestly, it would be nice if, they said that they only have 7 applicants for the PRF doctoral, right? I mean, if this what we just did, Alliance, triples that or doubles that, okay, then you can go there and show, look, I mean, just because we made a community, we were able to help, increase the number of, PRFs that are being submitted. So I think definitely we need to go after the low-hanging fruit, and since that PRF is coming up soon, that would be a big target, right? Other things like other programs, if you have REUs or whatever, like the exchange of students, even if we say, hey, I had a master's student and I was able to get him into the PhD in this institution because of this alliance, that's also another win. But I think that if you guys have some milestones that you would like to see, maybe we can send them to the committee, and the committee can sit and prioritize and say, hey, you know what? yeah, this is achievable, this is not, and maybe they can send us, a one page of, hey, these are all the ideas. Vote your top 5. Like, so for example, let's say we get 10 milestones. We can say rank your top 5 as all of us, right? Send a little, Google form or whatever, vote. There's so many. A survey. And then we can decide, hey, these are the 5 milestones we're going to decide on this year. So it's going to have to be all of us working on this. It's either benefit all of us or, why are we doing it? But I mean, as to like emails and all of that stuff, I mean, I take the emails that come from, the UTC Center very seriously because they affect how we're going to go after things. I mean, this is an important thing. A lot of us either have centers, they're going to go for another renewal or whatever. So I think like being successful is really important to all of us. I don't see why you would want to ignore this.
Yeah, so just to add to so great suggestion, Ramakrishna, and I think having a Google kind of survey kind of thing, so like what top 5 things as a community we are trying to address, I think it might not be right there in your head, or it might be too cumbersome to just collect this, but I think a form may be a better idea to put in together, and then probably committee may just look at those, like let's prioritize those and then go after this, then how do we kind of as a community solve those? Yeah.
You also have an online suggestion. Executive committee should set up a meeting of all CREST PIPD in 6 months, either online or in person, to discuss important issues.
I mean, that's another one of those doable things that we can put in as, hey, But I'm guessing like everyone can, guys. It's all on volunteer basis. If you want to volunteer a milestone, just send it to the committee. The committee can collect these. It's not everyone should. I'm just saying whoever. The committee will collect these. If they come up with 15, they can send a little, survey and say, hey, rank your top 5. And then it's easy. After all of us, they'll say, these are the top 5 that came out of this committee. And then we can set up a meeting in 6 months and talk about different initiatives. Honestly, so one of the ideas that I have is, we always talk about like all of us have seminars, webinars in our CREST proposals. I mean, let's pool resources together and maybe do it in in a convenient place that's easy for everyone to fly in, and have our students go in, and it's going to be like when we call it we make our own conference and everyone contributes. Or somebody host us if they are conveniently located. My point is that it takes so much energy to think of all of these different things to do, right? But if we pool our resources together, we'll be able to do it. And not have to worry, okay, hey, don't worry, this university is hosting a webinar, we'll send our students there and we'll all meet and do that. And then, everyone can check the box on something without having to put too much thought or energy into it. I mean, just one of many ideas that we can have. I think we're good, right?
So, because all these things that we are saying here today, we've talked about these things for 2 years, and there is a theory behind this, which is the collective impact theory, and there is a reason why these things fail, it's lack of resources. So yes, there is a good starting point, but if we don't go after the resource, this will die off, because there's theory and research behind that, and so yes, let's start. It's great that we have this committee, and I think the website, it's a good starting point. And then we can go after the money. And since we have an initial structure, I think we'll have more chances. Someone mentioned NSF has a lot of money. And I think it's a good idea, a good starting point.
So the 6 months, I think, is too long. I think we should have a quarterly, right? So otherwise, the next meeting is... I think semi-annual is too long. For the committee, better have a quarterly. So instead of 6 months, right?
You're talking about a PI meeting.
Right. But even PI, right? So we have progress report. If you wait 6 months, okay. So I think quarterly meeting, it doesn't need to be 2 hours long, right? So people can share best practices or concerns and so forth. So that's my suggestion. But webinar, we will learn how to do it.
So I'm going to comment on something you were saying when I came in. In my last job, we did that. We had all the program directors that were supposed to be doing workshops for students. Pick a day of the week, pick a time of the week, and instead of having responsible conduct and research at 12 different sites with 12 different resources, they had one person, they did it, and maybe you have somebody that is really good at, I don't know, writing the Graduate Research Fellowship Program grants, and somebody else doesn't have that resource. By having the whole community decide on a day of the week to give that training for the students, everybody got the training. So it saves a lot of effort because you didn't have to plan for 24 or 12 seminars for students. You only had to plan for one, and everybody else was contributing. So I know that works. So keep it up. So I'm here now. You guys can tell me what you're thinking about, how we can help you. We had talked yesterday about having the PI town hall 1 month in, 1 month not. 1 month office hours, 1 month PI meeting. But if you want to do it quarterly, we can do it quarterly. So now I'm here. Just let me know what you guys want and how we can help you be successful. Because my job at the end of the day is to make sure that all of your institutions achieve that national research prominence that you said that you were going to do when you submitted that grant. And we want you to get famous, and we want you to get a lot of money, and we want you to get the recognition that some other people get.
I totally forgot about that. So Luis does have those, office hours versus, and we agreed to do 1 office hour and 1 meeting. So that meeting can be the PI meeting, and the executive committee can be there to facilitate, that. So instead of duplicating effort, well, the meeting is there. If Luis doesn't mind, then the executive committee can be there to just, take input, and that could be the PI meeting or the continuous one. And then that's where we can share some ideas and what we need to do. And so the other one will be office hours. If, let's say, somebody just wants some time without having, then that's also and that works for for all of us.
Now, one question that I need your feedback on. So when I was planning the office hours, I was going to do 1 month Friday, 1 month Thursday, 1 month Wednesday, because not everybody has the same time, the same day available. Does that work for you guys? Or do you want to do every Friday we're going to have the PI meeting, rotate it? Rotate it? Okay, so I know some people have, the Thursdays and Fridays are lab day, so. Yeah. When I pass the mic, you guys let me know how we can help you.
So as you saw, we have been thinking about this committee and bringing the centers together. And we have talked about how to create this backbone, this structure that can support the centers. So is there a way that the CREST directory or program can support that? Is there a way that we can ask for money to support that?
We can do a supplement. I'm going to refer you to 2 different places, because the 2 places that I know that have done something like this. One that has been extremely successful, extremely well organized. Some of you might know about it. I don't know about Includes. I know about the RCMI PI Association. And if anybody here has an RCMI or have heard about it, RCMI has a RCMI PI Association that is very well organized. and you can reach out to them and say, hey, how do you guys did that? What do we need to watch out for? You know, we don't want to repeat the same mistakes. So I've seen, and yesterday we talked about, like, you know, the engineering, they have a website, so contact them and say, hey, how do you guys did it? So there's PI communities out there that already did this, and maybe you can learn from how they did it and go from there. In the case of, you know, NSF, well, we have the conference grants that we can have. Instead of one PI meeting a year, we could have two if we decide that's, you know, something that is important. I was like looking at the map, basically, you know, where is everybody at? The central point is basically Atlanta. When you look at where, like, you know, all the people are, the central airport is Atlanta. And if you think that's a good idea, you know, everybody can fly to Atlanta. We'll pick a hotel or a university right next to the airport and meet and fly out the next day. That way everybody has to suffer the same amount of air travel time. Because, you know, it's not fair for somebody to come from, I don't know, I guess extremes. Like, I always found funny that, you know, we have PIs in California and PIs in New York, and we don't have meetings in the middle of the nation. That way everybody suffers the same. So think about that, if that's a good idea or not, and we can decide how to move forward. But yes, we have the, you know, we have the collaborative supplements, so it could be a collaboration between all the CREST centers to build a community that shares best practices. Everybody has issues with purchasing. Everybody has issues with, you know, something at their institution that is not working. And somebody maybe already found that recipe to make it work. It's a matter of spreading that knowledge around and not being isolated at your institutions. So we just, I guess I need you guys to pick somebody and say, okay, I'm going to do this supplement for this, you know, or I'm going to do the conference grant for that. Or I'm going to do a grant for X, Y, and Z to start getting that, you know, what you guys need. And then, you know, we have the workshop grant. So you guys were successful in getting a center grant. You have 10 years of center money. And after that, you know, somebody else is going to come and take your place. So let's practice what we preach. We say we have to mentor. Let's start mentoring the next generation of PIs and of institutions that need that CREST Center or that need that HBCU Rise. So you could have a conference, a workshop on how to write successful CREST applications, or how to write successful HBCU Rise applications, because most likely a lot of people here receive help some way or another to get to where you guys are at. Any other comment?
Can we add a to this program, like for example, moving forward, let's say a 1 hour time for the executive committee? So whoever is in the executive committee, like let's say 3 to 4 when the program today ends, right? They meet, every year just to kind of discuss issues or matter, like just so that there is a place where you guys feast face to face, since you're already here.
So, and let me ask you something. Once again, I'm trying to get feedback. I want to know what works best for you. You guys had a meeting that started yesterday, so maybe a lot of you guys flew in on Tuesday. If you stay here for the student meeting, you'll be going back home on Sunday. That's kind of a long time away from the institution. Is it better to have the PI meeting separate from the student meeting. And just have a one-day meeting dedicated to the PI issues, or a 2-day. You need to tell me what what will work best for you. That way you have a shorter travel time away from your institution. You don't have to say yay or nay now. Think about it. Collect the, I don't know who's going to be in charge of the meeting right now, but of the committee right now, but that executive committee that you guys form, collect the ideas and decide, okay, it's better to stay like we are now and meet with the student meeting, or it's better to have a separate meeting at a different time of the year. That's, we don't have to stay the same. If what we have right now needs to change, let's go ahead and change it. You had a comment? No?
Actually, I do. I must have that look on my face. Okay. I didn't want to change the subject, but on the Google Sheet, were you able to set up a Google Sheet?
I'm having to do it on my phone because it's my laptop.
Okay. I've actually got it right here if you want me to do it. But my question is, how are we actually going to get on the sheet then? Because we still don't have everybody's email. I was going to suggest should we all just email you, but I guess I could do it and just everybody email me if I gave you my email address right now, and then, yeah, thanks for all the work. Okay, yeah. So my email is, let me know when you're ready. Schuler, S-C-H-U-L-E-R. Yeah, S-C-H-U-L-E-R at UNM, like University of New Mexico, .edu. Sure. Schuler, S-C-H-U-L-E-R at UMN.edu. Did I say it wrong? UNM. You know why? Because I was just thinking, there's actually a Schuler at UMN, the University of Minnesota, who's similar in background to me. Like it's scary. Yeah, sorry. UNM, University of New Mexico. Sorry, my brain was thinking about that and I said it wrong. Yeah.
Is it okay to send Co-PIs?
Yes, anybody. I think anybody that's wants to be on this list, so we don't have to make it at all exclusive.
Absolutely everybody that's on the CREST associated program.
Should we limit it to faculty, or at least not students? Because there's probably things that we want on here that maybe.
PIs and Co-PIs or PI and associate, I don't know, director, if you guys have whatever structure you have.
Yeah, faculty, staff, whoever would benefit from this, sure. Okay, very good. I'll try to do my best here. If you don't get an email from me, say in a couple of days, look me up on our website, Andrew Schuler, and get my email again and try again. Okay? Yeah. Yep.
And then you're going to share that list also with every single email?
Yeah, I guess then I'll just email everybody en masse, and I'll enter it on.
If you want to add me as soon as possible, I can still
You can help?
commit to helping.
Yeah, I appreciate that. What was your name?
Tara Kickens.
Okay, great, thank you. Well, I'll figure it out. I'll figure out a way, yeah.
So we are going to make a listserv after this, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you want to type it in the screen, you can just type it. Yeah. So you guys are going to think about the timing of this meeting, if she'll still be coupled or not. And we're going to do the 1 month yes, 1 month no meeting with the PIs. And we're going to rotate the meeting different days a week. Anything else that we can start working on the NSF side. So a lot of this stuff is going to be on your side. So any other comments? Oh, go ahead.
Dr. Cubano, is it possible that you can visit each CREST school?
No.
And meet with
as I told you guys yesterday, my budget for travel is $4,000, of which I spent $40 yesterday on Uber. So it's not $4,000 anymore. Yeah. And after today, it will be 300.
Yeah. Or if we can have maybe a forum just for our administration, because I think again they don't really understand the NSF
No,
CREST program.
that's something that we can do. And I was telling somebody that they were going to send me a request, and the request was going to have a but. And not to get offended by the but the but was not for them, it was for the administration. Basically, they needed like $1,000 to like repair a piece of equipment or something like that. So it's like, we are giving you $5 million. If your institution cannot put $1,000 to fix something, how are you justifying sustainability? Because we're not asking, the person is not asking for like $500,000, that's asking for like $1,000. If you cannot put $1,000 from indirect costs to fix something, you are not sustainable. I'm gonna be, I'm being blunt, but that's the truth. So, we can have a, CREST PI/administrator meeting, and you can bring, usually the issues are like purchasing and financial aid, which financial aid I cannot really help you a lot. Purchasing, I can be more useful, but bring your, associate dean or associate vice president or the associate of the associate of the associate for research. Depending on the institution, you have like some weird titles. But yeah, we can have a meeting and we can say, hey, you guys were more than willing to take the $5 million. So that $5 million had a commitment to it. Mm-hmm. And a commitment was that your institution was committed to improving research infrastructure. And that has a lot of, meanings to that. That means helping the faculty with seed money. That means giving, research space. That means changing policies that were written in 1900 when there was like no email and you had to use carbon paper to type stuff. And you're being asked to do 3 copies in carbon paper, sign in blue ink to be able to get something approved. We got PDF now. We got electronic signatures. So there's ways that you can be helped to be as efficient as other institutions that don't put so many blocks on what you're trying to do.
Yeah. So just to add to, I understand what you're talking about. So recently, not recently, I think as our CREST Center started, so we talked to our dean, and actually we planned that every 6 months we will have an administrator meetings, where like CAO, finance head, HR head, they will be invited, where we will basically in general present like what we guys do. And then we kind of put the couple of things which are kind of becoming a roadblock. So what we felt like those meetings made tremendous impact, because I think they were not listening, they were not responding to email, but when they were kind of seeing like they have to be appearing, they know like then faculty will be talking to them, somebody will be asking them. So they started responding little quickly. It did not solve all the problems. So we still have a lot of situations of pains, but it helped. So my request, I think here it may be like, if we have like this kind of administrator meetings, like for a CREST Center initiated or dean initiated, where actually, I know you cannot travel to every one of those, but if we can just request you to appear in those just to say hello, and just if
no, I mean when we have
online,
let's say that we can have one of those town halls that we were talking about, have a PI/institutional rep meeting, and that's something that you guys need to decide on a date, and we can do that, because I used to be a PI, I used to be in your shoes, so I used to have a meeting to remind the institution how much indirect costs they were getting, how much indirect costs they were going to lose if we did not renew the grant. And I used to tell them, okay, This is how much money you have to put in to be able to renew the grant. Because there's no grant that comes free to the institution. I mean, the institution has to put something down to be able to get that grant. And it's like, you're gonna get so much in indirect costs minus whatever you have to put in the initial investment, but you're still getting so much out of it. And remind them about that. Because if not, they're just gonna see the check that comes in, and they forget about what it takes to get the renewal. So I was always trying to remind them, hey, that's the renewal. And they're going to tell you, oh, but the credit's only 10 years and you're not going to get a renewal. Yeah, that's true. You're not going to get a renewal, but tell them all those PIs that are under the CREST, all the sub-projects, what grants did they got? And that's why it's so important that you are very pointed to those sub-project PIs. Because at the end of the day, if I'm an administrator at a school and I give you some money because you told me that those 3 PIs that you have as sub-projects are going to become, the next money maker for my institution, because let's face it, we are just money makers for the institution. We write grants. I mean, they give us a salary to write grants and make money for them. So if those 3 people that you selected don't get any money, and you're going to say, hey, I need $100,000 more for the next CREST Center. You're like, but you didn't got me anything. So it is a tough business. And your trainees, the same thing. I used to have my trainees sign a contract. It's like, this is your responsibility. I'm going to give you money, but you have to do stuff. And if you don't do stuff, you get fired. So you have to be clear with people. You are not giving them sub-project money just for them to do whatever. At the end of the day, they need to produce that independent grant. I don't care if it's from DOD, NSF, NIH, the congressionally mandated research. Those people have too many initials. Besides, another DOD part of money is congressionally mandated research, biomedical research or something like that. That's good money, by the way. So I don't care what you're getting the money at the end of the day. I just care that at the end of the day you can say, my CREST Center was successful, my sub-projects were successful, because when you tell me that, I can tell my boss, like, hey, you see what we did with that money? If you give me more money, we can do that more in other places or in other disciplines. Because you have biology departments, physics departments, geology departments, blah, blah, blah departments. So all those departments should get equally developed and equally successful. So this is something that really everybody, all of us need to work together to ensure that we're all successful. Anything else?
So maybe it's time the budget goes up to 6 million now. It has been 5 million for too many years.
I'm going to take that back. And we'll see what we can do about it. I'm not going to tell you yes. I can tell you we'll see what we can do about it.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something. Like we were talking about yesterday. Look at other places. Because I found out something this morning that I didn't know about. NHGRI, they opened a new center opportunity for minority serving institutions that I didn't know about. Now, NIH money is different than NSF money. When NSF tells you 1 million, it's actually 1 million minus indirect costs is what you actually get. When NIH says 1 million, it's 1 million plus indirect costs. So you actually are getting 2 million or 1,750,000 depending on your indirect costs. So double dip between NIH and NSF because a lot of the science is going to be the same. It's just how you write it. I mean, you can do like data science for NSF and you can do data science for NIH. It's just different, you know, how you write it. And a lot of people do that. It's like, I'm going to look at the mechanism of microtubule organization. That's basic science. Now, microtubules are involved in metastasis. So I'm going to look at how to stop metastasis by attacking microtubules. Basically the same thing. But one goes to NIH and they get money from cancer research. The other one goes to NSF. So a lot of faculty out there play the system. Don't forget about SBIR money. Your faculty, especially, you're doing a lot of like material research. And material research leads to patents. And your institution should be helping you get that SBIR money because a lot of government agencies are begging, literally begging for SBIR applications. So don't just think about the standard way of getting money. Think about the different ways that you can get funded to fund your research. I mean, I got Department of Education money to build labs. So you can get, if you're trying to recruit faculty, build labs, you can get Department of Education money. So somebody was saying yesterday, we need money for undergraduate education. Don't think NSF. Think at other places.
By the way, for anybody who's a UT system school, commercialization, they have a lot of money for commercialization, and we don't pay anything. So we filed 2 patents. They'll take care of everything. You don't even have to pay a cent. There is a pot of money in the UT system specifically for commercialization, and they're begging for people to use it because it's just basically they have it sitting and they don't have enough patent applications. So like always go to your associate deans and ask about that. It's available. They came in to every school and told us about those pots of money for commercialization.
And if you're not in Texas, the Small Business Administration, they fund centers around the country to help people develop companies. And also NIH has centers around the nation also to develop companies. So there's opportunities out there that you don't have to be an expert. It's like, man, I don't know how to do that. There's people out there that are supposed to help you do that. So look for those opportunities.
So just in general, ideas of other ways to other aspects in the CREST program to help us in general. Many of us promise to get new hires in the departments, minority to enhance the workforce that way, and it's very important. And the administration often agrees, but then when the time comes, they have no money for startup, especially in some fields. You need large startups. Is there perhaps some programs sort of in the same spirit as the postdoctoral support that could be focusing on developing a diverse faculty in some of these? It's just an idea. I don't know exactly how.
One, that's a good idea. 2, we don't have a funding opportunity to do that right now. I know NIH has one that they are promoting cluster hiring. So you should look at that one. And 2, I should look at that one and see how we can do something similar for us. So yeah, right now we don't have that. We don't have like a faculty something, but we could try to think about it. Please write that down. And maybe next time we have like a CREST supplement for new hires or something like that. That's a good idea.
ONR used to have a program like that. I don't know if they still have for new hires. Office on Naval Research.
Oh, okay. So Office of Naval Research also had a program.
They will pay for the starting, they won't pay for the person. Yeah, what they will do is they'll pay for the person's startup for their lab, but the condition is it can't be somebody that's at the university. It has to be an open position that you're advertising.
So that will help with the startup funds, which is also a big issue.
Yeah, I have two questions. First one is very short. I'm confused what we send the list to Andrew. What is that purpose? Because they already present their web page, right?
We have to have a way of at least gathering everybody's emails. Like if they make a website, how does everybody communicate? This is just at least a list of emails so we can all get in touch with each other.
Okay, so that web page is open to the public, so everybody can get in, right? So we can discuss post for post whatever we on the web page, right? Oh, just a contact purpose, but we can still contact on the web page, right?
Yeah.
Contact with.
Contact, Tariq or something. Like I can't do that through the web page necessarily, unless the web page does have everybody's contact info on it. I guess that's up to the web people.
Okay.
We're just trying to get started.
Okay. Okay. I just want to know what the.
Yeah. Let's have a way of talking to each other.
Yeah. Another one is for Luis. So we're from California State University, San Bernardino. So we are trying to develop a master program, but that we don't have the special allocation from CREST. Is there any place for the funding resource for us to develop this program for the master program?
So you submitted an application for the CREST, but you did not request money to develop a master's program.
Yeah,
and now you want to develop a master's program.
Yeah, is there any?
And in what area you want to develop the master's?
Material science.
Material science. Do you have a PhD program? No.
No.
Yeah, because I was going to say if you have a PhD program at your institution, does your institution offer any PhDs?
We have some, but a few. Not in the material science, but in the psychology education.
Your best bet, if you want to do something right now and get enough money to get it, really do something, I will say submit a HBCU rights application with the goal of establishing a PhD program in material science.
So HBC, so you mean no.
Oh, where you at?
So we're the CREST, we're not a HBC.
No,
right?
no.
So
Okay, yeah, so that doesn't work. Send me an email and let me think about it. See what's the best way to do it. If we can do it, we might not be able to, but at least we'll try to figure something out. Oh wait, are you in a HSI? HSI program right now is basically undergraduate, so that doesn't work either. Send me an email, I'll keep thinking and see if something works.
Just a note on this Google Sheet. So when you send me an email, just put CREST in the subject line so I can find your emails later conveniently. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a link to the Google Sheet where you can add your name, email, center name, other stuff we'll have on there. That way I'm not trying to, and I'll make typos on everybody's names and everything, then you guys can do it and we can keep it up to date, right? And I just emailed it to you. You can be my reality check, make sure I've got stuff on there, okay? Yeah, all right.
So we got 3 minutes left before the break. Anything else before we go?
So I did send an email to the committee members. So if you didn't get it, let me know. So I did send an email to the committee members. There is one that's online. So if you did not get it, let me know.
Well, thanks a lot for coming. I hope this was productive and it will be the beginning of something useful for everybody.